Over at the Arlington Public Library, our friend Judy Knudsen likes to say, "You never know who you may be passing on our streets." Judy leads a team of archivists at the library's Center for Local History, formerly known as the Virginia Room. They scour Arlington County, looking for materials and people to help tell Arlington's story. And here's just one of those amazing stories that you may have even passed on the street.
Yeah, we had the American Nazi Party showing up. You see the mob we had, and you can see the swastika there.
This is an interesting area. Arlington, particularly, a lot of activism.
There I am in my classic pose.
We are a place that collects local history. So I'm sure there are many, many stories that are out there that we would like to capture for sure. Probably 100 that you've passed on the street.
My documents are a record of where we've been and where we don't want to go.
Hi. Welcome to the Center for Local History.
Thank you.
You want to come over here and show me what you've brought us?
Some...
You can't tell by looking at somebody what their story is. I mean, people have amazing stories, and certainly she's one that does.
Well, we specialize in fragile, so.
I grew up here in Arlington. Everything was completely segregated. We had to memorize Bible verses in Sunday school, and so many of those verses had to do about how to treat each other. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, for such is the kingdom of God. You know, love thy neighbor as thyself. Beautiful verses, but we weren't doing it. I just thought it was wrong. We weren't treating others like we'd like to be treated. Then I ended up at Duke University. My mother wanted me at a segregated school with some prestige. Our Presbyterian chaplain said that there would be a meeting. At our meeting next week, there would be some of the students who were conducting the sit-ins come over from North Carolina College, and then these quite impressive young folks from NCC spoke to us and invited us to join them. So a handful of us did.
Joan was arrested twice for the sit-ins. When pressure came from Duke University for her to stop the activism, Joan dropped out. The students from North Carolina College asked her to make contact with students from Howard University in D.C.
So here's this white girl going up to Howard. I had to find out where Howard was first. And it turns out they were planning to have sit-ins in Arlington. This is like one of the scrapbooks about the sit-ins, but you can see how it's sort of falling apart.
Right, it is, right.
But this is lots of
That's wonderful, though, that you kept all that.
When the Nazis showed up in Cherrydale, things were a bit tense. But because the county had said it wasn't going to prosecute the store managers or anybody, got served.
Joan's activism led to her involvement with the Freedom Rides that challenged segregation on interstate buses and bus terminals. After the first Freedom Ride ended with the bus being firebombed, Joan joined others to continue the rides.
And we were arrested as we came in on breach of peace. And what it meant was the Freedom Riders upset the minds and mental tranquility of other people. So the Freedom Riders were guilty of breaching the peace of mind of people that felt like beating them up.
Arrested for a third time, Joan was in prison for over 2 months. Getting out just before school started, she became the first white woman to enroll at Tougaloo College in Mississippi, where she took part in the now infamous 1963 Woolworth sit-ins in Jackson.
It was pretty unruly. Memphis Norman, the one guy who was sitting in, had been pulled to the floor and was being stomped by an ex-policeman. John Salter really got it. Brass knuckles, pepper mixed in water and thrown in his eyes, cigarettes burned in his neck. You can still see the scars. But we all got stuff dumped on us, all the condiments. We just sort of figured we were going to get killed. What I found happened to me was, as it got worse, it was like an out-of-body experience and became like a guardian angel up above, and this was just a shell sitting at the counter. But the important part of me was already up there, sort of keeping an eye on the crowd and keeping me safer.
That was a time of such turmoil in the country, and to have somebody who was personally there, I mean, there's nothing like seeing that first-person description of something with somebody who was actually there. Getting the scrapbook and that together with the oral history that we have, I mean, they dovetail so nicely as well.
We knew nonviolence would work. We had faith in it. We might be dead first, but in the end it would work.
Oral history is one of the ways that you can find out things you're not going to find out any other way. Because most people don't write their memoirs, but you can talk to anybody, you know, and usually they have a story to tell. Most people have a story. So there are things in the oral histories you're not going to find anyplace else. We proactively go out and collect the material from the organizations and the citizens of Arlington. We're not just a repository. We try to find people who have material that will help tell the story of the community. We are digitizing collections that we already have. We're digitizing photos and putting those up. We have done postcards. It's not just scanning it. The scanning is great, but that's the first step. It's then we have to add the metadata and so forth and so on to make it useful to people. We just want to tell the story of this community. That is really what we are here to do. That's our mission. I mean, there are many, many stories out there for sure.
Oh, isn't that interesting? That's,
You take all the old photos and put them together, and it's like a patchwork quilt. But it's a patchwork of Arlington history. And you put it all together and you've got a whole.
What an amazing story. And if you want to see more of our interview with Joan Mahalan, visit arlingtonva.tv. You can also listen to her oral history at Arlington Central Library or download the transcript from the website. And if you have old Arlington County photos or other historic materials, please contact the Center for Local History. Judy and her staff would love to take a look at them.